Welcome back to the Averett Sports Network. My name is Luis Martinez, and welcome back for the matchup of the Averett University women's basketball team and the visiting Washington Lee Generals. Today, the Cougars have a matchup against conference opponent Washington Lee, as they are currently 1-2 overall, and Washington Lee are currently 1-0 with neither of teams playing a conference game so far. As I will announce the pronouncing starters for this matchup. For the visiting WNL side, we have number 11, Icy Kania. Number 13, Brianna Shuttlewood. Number 20, Hannah Malik. Number 24, Lauren Acker. And number 50, Mary Slicener. For your home team Cougar side, we have number 0, Jenkins Irvin. Number 2, Elisa Harris. Number 4, Talia Prosper. Number 12, Amore Kirkland. And number 20, Skylar Jones. Leading the way for the Cougars is number 4, Talia Prosper, averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds with only 27 minutes played, scoring a career-high 21 points against North Carolina Wesleyan. Another player to look out for the Cougars is number 2, Elisa Harris, averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 26 minutes played. Appeared in 20 games as a freshman, pulled down 2.8 rebounds per game, had 12 double-digit scoring performances. So far, the Cougars off to a rocky start, but hoping to overcome the number 1 ranked preseason ODAC Washington L, as we will take a quick break for the national anthem. The visiting Generals are currently ranked number 1 in the preseason poll and number 1 in the conference so far. The Averett University women's basketball team was voted number 11th in the 2023-24 Old Dominion Athletic Conference preseason poll, which was unveiled on November 2nd. Averett, which was picked 12th last year, finished with a 2-16 conference record and a 4-21 overall record last season in its first year as a member of the ODAC with a young roster and no seniors. As we are announcing the general starting lineup, we will be back shortly for tip-off.
You've all been waiting for. Let's meet your starters. Tonight, your Cougars of Averett University. And guard freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, wearing 0, Jenkins Irvin. And guard a sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina, number 2, Elisa Harris. And guard a senior from Manassas, Virginia, sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina, number 20, Skylar Jones. Head coach for the Cougars is Desiree Driver. She's assisted by Joseph Ball and Nancy Curtis. Trainer for the Cougars is Cody. Fans Averett, the ODAC, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship from student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments, or intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, or team representatives will not be tolerated under grounds for removal from the Grant Center. Consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages is prohibited.
As we are here underway at the Grant Center, about to start this game off. Jenkins Irvin's up against number 50, Mary Slicer. As the ref Slicer against Irvin's. Going back the other way for the Generals as number 50 Slicer gets a pass off by number 20 Malik. And now number 2 Elisa Harris for the Cougars against number 24 Actor Kirkland. Prosper now to Jones. Jones mid-range fakes. Prosper for the 3 off the backboard. And Irvins puts it up. Sent across the court and out of bounds by number 13 for the Generals, Shuttlewood. Intended for number 20, Hannah Malik. It'll go out of bounds and be it'll be in the hands of the Cougars. Kirkland inbounds it to number 2, Harris. Harris getting some pressure by number 24, Actor. Harris to Kirkland. Kirkland inside. Mid-range, off the backboard, in. The Cougars are up 4-2. Ball across to number 20, Malik. Malik up the court. Travel committed by Shuttlewood. Kirkland inbounds it to Harris. Cougars again with the ball. To Kirkland. Gets a screen. Harris. Pick by Prosper. Jones to Prosper. Prosper cuts in to the basket off the backboard. And that'll be Slicer. From way out from the 3, Slicer rebounds it. Foul. Number 50, Mary Slicer, going to take her 2 free throws for the Generals. And the first one's off the rim and back to her, and she will line up for her second one. As her second one drains it. Prosper inbounds it to Harris. Getting pressure from Actor. Harris to her right. Behind the back. Off the backboard. Slicer. Slicer is there. Shuttlewood pushing transition. Out to number 20. Malik puts it up. Back to Shuttlewood. Kania. Shuttlewood. Off the rim. Actor. To Malik. As number 13, Brianna Shuttlewood will inbound it for the Generals. Sends it over to Slicer. Slicer mid-range. Pinged around. Jones ends up with it. Pushing transition now are the Cougars. Jones against number 20, Malik. Harris. Now Kirkland against Shuttlewood. Kirkland for Prosper against Kania. Puts it up a little short. Now Shuttlewood going back the other way.
Brandon Sands and Cena Johnson checking in for Averett.
Kirkland inbounds it to Harris. Harris trying to set up the play properly for the Cougars. She dribbles and it goes off of her foot, off some pressure by number 24, Actor. Couple substitutions here for the Generals as Shuttlewood and Kania will both take a seat. Number 10 entering the game, Freckle, as well as number 14 for the Generals, McGinnis. Harris inbounds it to Jones. Jones with some pressure from number 20, Malik. Puts it up, gets the and one. As Jones will get her free throws here. And it goes in for Jones. It's now McGinnis trying to get it to Actor. Gets to Malik. Malik with some pressure from Harris. Actor now sends it across. Looking for Preckle. Preckle takes a three, goes off the board. Slicner gets pressured from Sams. And down will go Slicner. Slicner again to the free throw line. As Kirkland, number 12, will go ahead and take a seat for the Cougars. And number 22, Coleman, will enter the game. As well as number 15, Sanaya Johnson. And Slicer's first free throw will go into the net. Her second one underway. Off the board. Sam's recovering and pushing transition to Coleman. Coleman for the three. Off the top of the backboard to Harris. Harris, Jones. Airballed, out of bounds. Actor inbounds it, looking for Malik. Finds number 10, Preckle. Now McGinnis against Jones. Actor, now Malik. Puts it up to Slicner. Slicner with a lot of heavy pressure on her side. And a timeout called for the Cougars as we are currently 6-6 with only 6:21 left. We will be back shortly after this timeout.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
Welcome back after the timeout. Harris pushing transition to Jones. Jones. Called for a foul. Illegal blocking. Number 34 for WNL is in the game. That'll be number 34, Caroline Shimp. Over to number 14, McGinnis. And now Freckle, sorry. McGinnis draws the foul. And she will go to the line. And McGinnis' first free throw will go off the rim and back. One more for McGinnis, number 14. And up, Slicener rebounds. Off again. Jump ball. Irvin back in the game, as well as Kirkland. Harris and Sam's going to take a quick breather as Kirkland moves it up the court to her left, to Jones. Getting it blocked by Johnson. Jones open. Johnson puts it back up, off the board. Shimp trying to rip it away from Irvins. She'll draw the foul for the Generals. That's now number 34, Shimp, the freshman out of Fairfax Station, Virginia Robinson Secondary School. Shimp over to number 30, Bryant. Now Shimp away from Irvins. Euro. And will get it in. Irvins to Kirkland. A very close game so far as both teams are pushing transition and maintaining good position so far. The Cougars getting a lot more shots off, just not getting them in the basket. Now Kirkland gets it to Johnson. Johnson out to Jones. Jones cuts in to the baseline. Gets blocked by Slicener. Number 50, Slicener, 6'2", has a lot of advantage over a lot of these girls on the court. Irvins for three. Bangs it. They'll call for two, sorry. And now McGinnis. Shimp gets it to Slicener. Slicener. There again is Slicener with her height. Easily palms the ball in the air and puts it up for the Generals. Now Kirkland going back the other way. Kirkland to Johnson. Johnson puts it up. It'll go away, and that'll be number 30. Bryant recovering it. Gets it to McGinnis. McGinnis over to Freckle. Into Shimp. Slicener again. Beautiful play there by the Generals as Slicener finishes it under the basket, puts it up. Kirkland sends it up to Jones. Now Jones driving, loses it a bit to Kirkland. Now Kirkland drives, puts it up off the rim. Slicener trying to keep it in bounds, gets it to Shimp. Now Bryant. That'll be Preckle, puts up the three. Now Kirkland, as the Cougars have fallen to a 6-point deficit against the Generals. Kirkland commanding the troops, trying to make something happen. Kirkland to her right, cuts in, trying to get it to Jones, and we called for a travel. Substitutions here is number 3 for the Cougars will come into the game. That is Kira Perkins, as well as number 1, Carmen Moore. Number 32 for the Generals, Olivia Berntson, as well as number 15, Emma Robertson. Into number 20, Malik. gets it to Robertson. Back to Malik. Malik against Moore. Gets it into Slicer. Now Slicer puts it up easily against Irvins. Irvins doing her best to contain the giant that is Mary Slicer. Slicer, an absolute force on this court. That was number 32, Olivia Burdenson. Irvins taking a seat on the bench for the Cougars as it goes to Perkins. Perkins trying to get it to Coleman, who's back in the game. Coleman trying to put it up against Preckle. Shot there by Kirkland. Will go out of bounds and back the other way for the Generals as number 32, Birdson, will go ahead and inbound it. Birdson waiting for Preckle. Preckle to her left against Kirkland. Runs into Coleman. Out to Malik. Malik takes a three. Air ball. Number 32, Haight is back in the game for the Cougars. Perkin now, rebound. Slows it down, gets it to Kirkland. Now Kirkland. Over to Moore. Moore takes a three. Bang! Shuttlewood back in the game for the Generals. As number one, Carmen Moore will be called for a block. Harris back in the game for the Cougars as number 15 Robertson gets the ball back to Shuttlewood. As number 13 Shuttlewood takes her first free throw and it goes in and out. Spins around the rim and she will line up for her second one. Only about 2:06 left in this first period as Moore inbounds it, looking for Harris. Pushing transition is Harris. Harris against Malik, gets it to Coleman. Haight puts it up off the board. Robertson. Perkins fighting against Robertson. As McGinnis is back in the game, as well as Slicer having a good first quarter so far. Robertson, number 32, Burnson, as well as number 10, Preckle, will take a seat for the Generals as Harris inbounds it, looking for an open player. Gets it to Perkins, over the shoulder pass, getting pressured quickly by Shuttlewood. Back to Harris from Coleman. Harris against Malik. Malik sizing her up. Malik not backing down. Harris out to Moore. Moore cuts inside. Back to Harris. Perkins. Mid-range. Gets it. And now Slicer over to number 50. Slicer now from Malik. Trying to put it up. Haight gets the rebound. Gets pressured quickly. Trying to get it to Harris and it goes out of bounds from the heavy pressure from number 50, Slicer. It will be Generals ball on the sideline. Number 14, McGinnis, will go ahead and inbound it for the Generals. Gets it to Malik. Heavy pressure from Coleman. Malik sizing up. Coleman goes to her left. Gets a pick from Slicer. Slicer gets it in the paint. Spins, puts it up. A slicer, another one. Harris now to her left. Heavy pressure from Malik. Gets it out to Moore. Moore. Help from Pate. Harris cuts in. Sends it into Moore. Heavy pressure. Perkins puts it up. Air balls. And back the other way is Malik with some help. Gets it to Slicer. Slicer gets blocked from Moore. Number 24 back in the game is Lauren Actor for number 15, Emma Robertson. Shuttlewood will inbound it against number 32, Pate. Gets it off. Back to Shuttlewood now. Malik against Harris. Harris not backing down. Slicer. Moore cuts in. Actor puts it up. Rebound. Gets blocked. Number 24 Actor will take her 2 free throws for the Generals. Number 11 for the Generals, Elka Kania, sorry. As Actor's first free throw will go off the mark. Her second one sinks in. Morris, Harris puts in transition quickly. McGinnis on her left. Slicer comes under and takes it away as the clock winds down. And we will be back in just a short moment for the second quarter of this game, as the Cougars are currently down 7 points, 21-14 for the Generals, and we will be back shortly. And we are back for this second quarter for the Cougars against the visiting Generals of Washington and Lee. Currently down 21-14, 7 points. It is Cougars ball on the far sideline for number 0, Jenkins Irvin. trying to inbound it to Harris. Gets it off. Kania pressuring quickly. Harris now against Kania. Gets a pick. Help from 32. Pate gets it across to Jones. Jones cuts her left. Puts it up. Bangs it. Now McGinnis against Jones. Trying to make something happen. Gets it back over to Shuttlewood. Kania into number 24, Actor. Air ball there by Shuttlewood as Slicener, a big component for this general success so far. Rebounds the ball. Kania out to McGinnis against Harris. Harris pressures well, gets help there by number 0, Irvin. Irvin inbounds it to Harris. And Harris cuts to her left. Kania pressuring quickly. And that is McGinnis taking it away from Jones. Jones trailing quickly. Puts it up. Number 14, McGinnis, from a foul by Jones, as she attempted her best to try to stop McGinnis from scoring off of that fast break. And McGinnis will draw the foul and she will go to the line. McGinnis drains her first one. McGinnis drains her second one. Irvin inbounds it quickly to Harris. Harris to her left now. Kania pressuring quickly. Very aggressive. Kania easily on her hip. Jones now. Kirkland against Shuttlewood. Kirkland will be called for a push-off. It'll be General's ball. Actor inbounds it to Shuttlewood. Actor. Slicener cuts in. Slicener will be called for a travel. It'll be Cougar ball now, inbounded by Irvins to Harris. Harris again against Kania. Now Kirkland to her left. Pushes through to Jones. Jones against Slicener. Puts it up. Bangs it. 2 points for Jones. And now Shuttlewood pushing transition. Gets the ball off to McGinnis. Now Kania. Kania against Harris. Gets help from Actor. Puts up the three. Off the board. Now Harris with the ball. Trying to go up sideline. Cuts back into the middle. Harris gets free. Kania pressures quickly. Now Kania on a fast break. Being chased down by Pate. And Kania will put it up. Harris gets the ball to Kirkland. Kirkland, pressure from Shuttlewood. To Harris. Harris puts up the three. Over the rim. Falls to Kirkland. Kirkland gets it taken away from McGinnis. McGinnis stumbles. Gets it back to Kirkland. And now Harris to the baseline. Trying to get it to Jones. Jones puts it up. It'll be pinged around. Kania ends up with the ball. Pushing transition. Gets to the Slicener. Slicener easily puts it up. Timeout for the Cougars as they're currently trailing 27-18 to the Generals, and we will be right back after this short message.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
Johnson inbounds it to number 12, Kirkland. Kirkland to her left. These are for Jones. Jones against McGinnis. Gets help from Pate. Kirkland for the three. Puts it up. Bangs it. Actor inbounds it to McGinnis. Gets it quickly to number 10. Preckle. Preckle puts it up. Slicer rebounds. Kirkland takes it away. Kirkland handles the ball perfectly. Pate stumbles it now. Ends up with Coleman. Beautiful handles there by number 12, Kirkland. Now Coleman gets it to Jones against Malik. Jones stumbles. Pate, mid-range. Off the rim. Johnson rebounds. Over the rim. Back the other way is Slicer. Slicer against Coleman. Puts it up. And now Johnson inbounds it to Kirkland. Kirkland, number 12, getting it to Coleman, number 22. Coleman trying to make a move. Now Jones gets a pick from Pate. Gets blocked by Slicer. Jones trying to recover the ball. Slicer just too much of a presence against the Cougars. Sam's in the game. Number 14, Brianna Sams. As well as number 30, Riley Bryant for the Generals. Number 34, Shimp as well. Preckle puts it up, puts the three up, bangs it from a pass from number 20, Malik. Jones now the other way, open lane, puts an easy layup. Malik now gets an inbound from number 30, Bryant. Malik sends it up to Slicer. Slicer misses the first layup, puts up the second one, and gets fouled. Foul will be called on number 12, Amari Kirkland. Coleman taking a seat for the Cougars. Perkins, number 3, in the game. Slicer back on the line. Her first one goes in. Slicer absolutely having herself a night so far against the Cougars. And her second one just short of the rim. Sams inbounds it to Kirkland. Kirkland now gets it to Perkins. Perkins to the baseline, trying to push through, gets blocked, and she will draw the foul. Number 3, Perkins to the line. She will get 2. Kirkland will have 2 free throws of her own. And her first one off the board, off the mark. Her second free throw. In and out, off the rim. Slicer rebounds it again, gets it off to Shimp. Shimp, travel. Back the other way for the Cougars. Stans will inbound it to Kirkland, and Kirkland now moving up the court has number 50, Slicer, in front of her. Now Perkins to Jones, gets a pick. It'll be a travel called on Jones. Now number 34, Shimp, gets it off to Malik. Gets it to Slicer. Slicer against Johnson. Malik from deep, Off the rim. Rebounded by Shimp. Rebounded again by Shimp. Puts it back up. Shimp again with the rebound. And a jump ball will be called in favor of the Generals. Number 20, Malik, up to inbound it for the Generals. Gets it off to Shimp, wide open. Sam's heavily on her back. Shimp to Malik. Malik for three. Off the rim. Rebounded by Shimp. Back to Malik. Malik now into Slicer, and Slicer easily puts it up. And now Kirkland back the other way. To Sams. Sams cuts inside. Draws a foul from number 34, Shimp. And Sams will take her first chance at the line for the night as number 4, Talia Prosper, is back in the game. Number 14, McGinnis back. Number 30, Riley Bryant taking a seat for the Generals. Sanaya Johnson, number 15, will take a seat and bring in Prosper. McGinnis back in the game for the Generals. Sams, first free throw goes. Sam's second one goes. Shimp gets it over to Slicer. Slicer away to Malik. Malik cuts in baseline. Gets it out to Preckle. And Preckle was called out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Ball goes to Newman.
Prosper inbounds it to Kirkland. Over to Perkins. Perkins inside. Gets it taken away by Slicer with a lot of help from Preckle. Now Slicer up the court. Gets around Kirkland. Now Prosper inbounds it quickly to Kirkland. Now Kirkland going up the other way. Cuts to the left. Out to Prosper. Prosper. Now Perkins. Perkins puts it up. Bangs it. That's a great answer there by the Cougars from that three-point shot by Perkins. Now Sam's on her lonesome in the paint. Slicer gets it out to number 20, Malik, and Malik drains it. Now Prosper inbounds it quickly to Kirkland. Now Kirkland with the ball at half court. Leaves the ball to Perkins. Now Perkins gets pressure from Shimp, puts up the mid-range, off the rim, and Shimp rebounds over to Slicer. Now Slicer cuts her right. Over to McGinnis. McGinnis with Jones. And Jones draws the charging foul.
Offensive foul, 14 from McGinnis. So first.
Harris back in the game.
Warren Harris back in for Averett. Robertson in for Danville.
Number 2, Elisa Harris up the court. Number 1, Carmen Moore back in the game as well, as Moore gets it on the outside the arc. Mid-range, puts it up, bangs it. 10-point game. General still leading by 10 with 2 minutes left in this second quarter. As now McGinnis puts it up from the 3. Shimp. Shimp rebounds it, and it gets kicked around and go out of bounds. It'll be General's ball. McGinnis inbounds it to Malik. Heavy pressure from Perkins. Malik. Goes to her right. Pressure from Moore now. Sends it across court to McGinnis. McGinnis to the baseline. Puts it up. Shot clock runs out. Prosper rebounds off the second shot from McGinnis. Now Harris at the top of the arc, cuts to her right. So Sam's just off the mark. Moore back to Sam's. Second one for Sam's goes in. Now McGinnis back the other way to Malik. Malik cuts back inside, makes Moore miss. Blocked by Moore. Now Harris back the other way. Harris to her right. Cuts inside. Perkins blocked. It'll be ball for the Cougars as Malik takes a break, as well as Shimp. Number 15 for the Generals, didn't quite announce it. Emma Robertson back in the game, as well as number 50, Slicer, after taking a short break. Coleman back in the game, as well as Jenkins Irvins. Prosper gets blocked by Slicer. Actor back in the game as well. McGinnis across, looking for Preckle. Preckle for the three. Off the rim. McGinnis chases. Pressure from Moore. Actor open. Three. Robertson, heavy pressure on the backside of Harris. And Harris will draw the foul for the Cougars. Prosper inbounds it to Harris. And Harris will cross half court, goes to her left. Leaves it for Moore. Moore to Coleman. Coleman leaves it for Prosper. Irvin setting picks. Harris against Actor. Drives and will go nowhere. McGinnis now gets pressure from Moore and Harris. Not enough. Now Slicer cutting in. Out to Preckle. McGinnis. Actor. Pressure from Irvin. Slicer off the rim. Heavy pressure on Slicer. Harris getting a hand on Preckle. And now Prosper going back the other way. Prosper 3-on-1. Gets blocked and gets it taken away. As the quarter will run out, the Cougars trailing by 8. Generals up 40-32. As we will be back for the second half of this matchup between the Averett University Cougars and the Washington Lee Generals. We will be back shortly. Welcome back to the Averett Sports Network. Today we have the matchup between your Averett University Cougars women's basketball team and the visiting Washington Lee Generals. Currently, the Generals are up against the Cougars by 8 points, leading 40-32. Washington Lee's highest point scorer so far is number 50, Mary Slicener, an absolute presence inside the paint for the Generals. For the Cougars, leading the way should be number 2, Elisa Harris, putting up as much as she can as we are back out for the second half of the game, as Prosper inbounds it over to Harris. Harris with number 24, Actor, right in front of her. Passes it off to Kirkland. Back to Harris. Harris to Irvin. Kirkland puts it up off the rim and out of bounds. Shuttlewood across half court for the Generals, off to Slicener in the mid-range. Slicener off the rim, off the mark. Irvin's rebounds. Kirkland now pushing transition off to Jones. Jones, Prosper, Harris. Harris drives, puts it up, bangs it. Easy layup for number 2, Elisa Harris. Kania now into Actor. Actor puts it right back up, answering quickly. Prosper inbounds it to Harris. Skylar Jones, number 20, leading the way for the Cougars, having 9 points in the first half. As Kania back the other way, it's off the mark, off the rim. Prosper rebounds. Now Prosper looking back the other way. 21 points behind number 50, Mary Slicener. In the first half, an absolute performance here so far, as she's been getting rebounds all day. For rebounds, Mary Slicener has had a total of 10 in the first half. Now Kirkland to Harris. Gets pressured by Malik is Jones. Sams tries to drive against Slicener but gets blocked off the backboard. Shuttlewood back the other way. Now Kania to Malik. Malik finds Shuttlewood. Shuttlewood off the mark. Actor trying to rebound the ball. Kirkland takes it away. Kirkland out to Prosper. Harris drives, mid-range floater. Off the mark. Harris again against Slicener, and she will draw the foul against Slicener. Harris to the line as the Cougars are currently down by 8, 42-34 against the Generals. As now Harris, her first free throw goes in. Her second one underway. Second one goes in, cuts the lead down to 6. Kania gets an inbound from Actor. Into Slicener in the mid. Jones intercepts the ball from Slicener, intended for Malik. Jones now back the other way. Gets it taken away by Kania. Kania, Malik puts it up, 3. Rebounded by Slicener. And it will be put at the baseline for the Generals. Number 13, Shuttlewood, will be out to inbound it. Inbounds it, Slicener open. Slicener puts it up. Prosper inbounds it to Harris, number 2. Crosses half court. Jones now, number 20, against Actor. Back to Harris. Harris trying to drive, puts it up. It'll be bouncing around on the rim. Slicer picks it up. Kania the other way. Kania lobs it to Slicer. Slicer trying to get past. Kirkland ends up with the ball, pushing transition. Slicer pressuring quickly. Now Sams to Prosper. Over to Jones. Jones puts it up. Sams will win the ball against number 50, Slicer. Number 1, Carmen Moore in the game, as well as number 34, Shimp in for Actor. Skylar Jones, number 20, taking a seat for the Cougars. Number 3, Perkins, also substituting in for number 12, Amore Kirkland. Harris inbounds it to Prosper. Outside the arc. Sends it into Sams. Sams around Slicer. Not backing down is Brianna Sams, number 14, against number 50, Slicer. Out to Malik now for the Generals. Slice. Kania gets it to Shimp. Malik takes a deep 3. Off the mark. Harris brings it back up. Harris trying to get around Shimp. Shimp plays great defense. Perkins tries to put up the ball. Kania ends up with the ball for the Generals. Going back the other way. Shakes around more. Malik, 3. Bangs it. Number 2, Harris, working up court. Trying to make something happen here. Down 9. Out to Prosper. Prosper drives, trips, trying to get out to Sams. Sams collides with Malik. McGinnis, in the game for Shuttlewood. Johnson and Kirkland back in the game for the Cougars. Kirkland trying to inbound it off the fingertips of Shimp. Kirkland trying to put it back into play. Looking for an open player. Sends it into Moore. Moore trying to dribble around Malik, and it'll go off of her foot, and it'll be in the hands of the Generals. And now McGinnis. Number 3, Perkins, called on the foul against number 14, McGinnis. McGinnis shakes around Perkins, cuts back, gets a pick from Shimp. Malik puts up the 3, bang! Kirkland now crossing half court, leaves it for Prosper. Prosper trying to get around Shimp, gets a pick from Johnson. Prosper puts up the easy layup. It's a great move there by Prosper as Moore intercepts the ball by Kania, going back the other way, pushing transition, and she will lose it against Kania to go out of bounds. Timeout set by the Cougars, as we will be back in just a short moment.
Averett University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
As we're back after the timeout, Perkins puts it up, gets it in mid-range. McGinnis working up court against Kirkland. McGinnis drives. Shimp fakes, puts it up, draws the foul. Number 34 for the Generals, Caroline Shimp, the first year out of Fairfax Station. Take our first free throw here. Sinks it. Shimp only 2 points so far in the first half. Now gets 3. Now Kirkland behind the back. Over to Perkins. Perkins drives. Floater. Perkins again. Puts it back up. Gets it this time. Kirkland takes it away off of the mistake from McGinnis. Now Perkins going back the other way. That is number 4, Talia Prosper. Kirkland now to Perkins. Prosper. Prosper drives. It'll be knocked out of her hands and out of bounds. Shuttlewood back in the game. And a new face for the Generals is number 12, Zoo Rain. Kirkland looking to inbound it. Sends it up to Prosper. Now Prosper against McGinnis. Prosper over to Kirkland. Step back. In the face of Shimp. McGinnis. Sorry, Shuttlewood. Rebounds it. Over to McGinnis now. Shimp. Slicener misses off the mark. Rebounded by Perkins. Off to Kirkland. Now Moore. Kirkland. Perkins gets taken away by Slicener. Slicener gets the ball off the rebound and puts it right back up for the Generals. As number 12, Kirkland now at the top of the key. Trying to make something happen here. Gets it off to Prosper. Prosper drives. And it'll go off the mark, but she will draw the foul. And she will go to the line. Number 4, Talia Prosper. Had no points in the first half. Hoping to make something happen here. As Sanai Jones takes a seat, Jenkins Irvin back in the game. Carmen Moore, number 1, also taking a seat for the Cougars. Number 22, Coleman, entering the game. As Prosper hoping to cut the lead down as the Cougars still trail by about 9 points. As Prosper's first free throw will go. Prosper's second free throw, sorry. Second one will go. Cuts the lead down to 7. Number 14, Sam's back in the game, as well as number 2, Elisa Harris. Malik also back in the game. Shimp inbounds it to Shuttlewood. Shuttlewood cuts to her left. Back to her right. Passes it off to Rain. Rain fakes around Jones. Shimp over to Malik. Malik against Coleman. Colin pressures quickly. Malik cuts back, behind the back, crosses, spins, fakes. Off to Robertson. Number 15, Emma Robertson puts it up. Harris now crossing half court. Coleman over to Sams. Sams drives, gets it taken away by Rain. Jones gets stripped up by Shimp. Going ahead, taking a seat for the Generals. Number 30, Riley Bryant, back in the game. Jones, first free throw, goes in. Cuts the lead down to 8. Very close game so far, considering the preseason polls had these teams on polar opposite sides. Jones. Bryant over to Rain. Jones, pressure quickly, drives. Sams gets called for a blocking foul. Rain, her first one goes. Her second one underway. And that will go. And number 1 more entering the game for 14, Sams. Irvin inbounds it to Harris. Harris getting pressured by Malik. Harris continues to drive around Shuttlewood, trying to get it to Jones. Jones puts up the 3, off the rim, more rebounds, puts it up, gets it. Now Bryant working the other way. Shuttlewood back to Bryant. Bryant against Irvin. Bryant and Shuttlewood passing back and forth. Now Shuttlewood drives, gets it to Bryant, gets that one, 3. As the clock is winding down for this third quarter. Harris tries to drive against Bryant, gets it tapped away. Now Harris will be called out of bounds. Bryant inbounds it to Shuttlewood. Shuttlewood Working against Harris. Gets it out to Malik. Coleman pressures quickly. Malik, great handles. Coleman will be called for a foul on number 20, Malik. And Malik's first free throw will go. To the line again. Malik sinks another one. Inbound by Moore to Harris. Now Harris gets a pick from Irvin. Trying to drive. And will draw the foul for the Cougars. As they currently trail by 13, 62-49 in favor of the Generals with only 29.2 seconds left on the clock. Harris first one goes up, cutting the lead down to 12. Harris second one will go. Malik, full court press by Coleman. Coleman staying quickly on Malik. Malik turns away. Malik, a lot of handles. Coleman, absolutely startling Malik. As the crowd erupts by that amazing pressure there by number 22, Coleman. But she will draw the foul. Malik now to the line. Malik's first one off the mark. The crowd trying to get Malik off for a game, but Malik sinks the second one. Ball gets tapped out of bounds by number 12, Rain. Harris inbounds it to Coleman. Gets help from Moore with a pick. Now Coleman trying to get around Bryant. Gets it off to Irvin. Irvin puts it up. Gets it! As the bench erupts off that amazing play there by Irvin, putting up the three with only a second left on the clock. Now Irvin, her free throw will go off. Trying to put it up is Moore. And we are going to get ready for this fourth quarter as the Cougars are still trailing by 10, 63-53 in favor of the Generals, and we will be right back for the fourth quarter shortly. We are underway here in the fourth quarter. Shuttlewood for the Generals. Sizing up Harris. Gets it off to Malik. Malik, Slicner. Slicner back in the game. Gets it around Jones, and Jones hits the deck. Now Harris crossing half court. Drives against Shuttlewood, trying to put it up. Gets it! Shuttlewood trying to get it into Bryant, number 30. Gets it blocked there by number 0, Jenkins Irvin. Now Shuttlewood again against Harris. Bryant finds Malik. Malik puts up the 3. Off the mark. Shimp rebounds. Gets it across to Shuttlewood. Shuttlewood off the mark again. Jones ends up with the ball. Harris now. Harris at the top of the key. Puts up. Gets the ball over to Jenkins Irvin. Off. Now Shuttlewood working against Perkins. Off to Shimp. Slicner uses her height to her advantage and puts up the easy layup. Harris gets it to Perkins. Perkins mid-range. Off the board. Over to Prosper. Prosper, bang! Malik now against Perkins. Shuttlewood. Shimp gets it to Slicner. Prosper working against Slicner. Not enough. Now Harris crossing half court. Jones, top of the key. Perkins. Off to Prosper. Prosper. Rounds the arc. Shuttlewood pressuring quickly. Gives it away to Shuttlewood. Now Shuttlewood the other way. Trying to put it up. Prosper called for an illegal block. Now Shuttlewood will step out to the line. Number 14, Sam's back in the game. Johnson as well. Jenkins Irvin, Elisa Harris, and number 4, Talia Prosper go take a seat on the bench for the Cougars. Shuttlewood's first free throw will not go. Their second one will. Inbounded by Sams to Kirkland. Kirkland, McGinnis right in front of her. Now Perkins gets called for a travel. Inbound to McGinnis by Shimp against Kirkland. McGinnis over to Malik. Finds Slicner. Jones draws the charge against Slicner. Now Kirkland. Perkins working against Slicner, over Slicner! Perkins, beautiful shot. Now Rain gets pressured by Jones and she will draw the foul. Cougars still trailing by 10, 70-60. Generals lead as Rain, number 12, will step up to the line. The first one will go. The second one off the rim. Shimp picks it up. Malik. McGinnis puts up the three. Off the rim. Fighting for it is Shimp and Sams. In favor of the Cougars. Kirkland now. Pressure from Rain. Kirkland gets stuck. McGinnis takes it away from Perkins. Number 32, Pate. Coming in for number 20, Jones. Johnson as well, taking a seat. Number 20, Skylar Jones, going to inbound it. Sorry, number 12, Amori Kirkland. Kirkland trying to look for someone, anyone. Perkins drives around Shimp. Draws the foul. Number 3, Perkins. Ready to put it up. Gets one in. Cuts down the lead, back to 10. .636 left in this fourth quarter. As our second one will go. Actor in for number 34, Shimp. Number 34, Shimp, having only 2 points in the first half. Only 4 in the total game. Malik now trying to round around Perkins. Gets off to Rain. Rain puts up the three. Over the mark. Slicer chasing. Trying to put it into Malik. It gets tipped away. McGinnis inbounds it to Rain. McGinnis, Actor, Slicer. Layup over Jones. Kirkland now. Perkins, three. Off the mark, out of bounds. Pate keeps it in. Great effort there by Pate. Now Jones drives, loses it. Gets called for a travel. Coleman, Harris, and Moore back in the games. Jones, Perkins, and Kirkland will all take a seat on the bench for the Cougars. Inbounded by Actor to McGinnis, back to Actor. Actor gets it over to McGinnis. McGinnis over to Malik. Trying to look for Slicer. Ball will be tipped out of bounds by the Cougars. It'll be General's ball on the baseline. Jenkins Irvin, number 0, back in the game for number 32, Pate. Slicer, mid-range. Bounces around the rim, but out. Jenkins Irvin's rebounds. Harris now at the top of the key. Leading by 11 are the Generals. Now Coleman drives around Actor. Loses it. It'll be Generals ball going back the other way. Now Malik over to Actor at the top of the key against Sams. Malik takes a three, gets it passed by Actor. Malik puts it up and in. Inbounded by Irvin. Harris against Rain. Heavy pressure by Rain. Harris passes it off to Moore. Moore cuts to her left, mid-range, puts it up. Sams rebounds, trying to put it up, draws the foul.
And a Malik called for foul. Timeout on the floor.
As a timeout is called in favor of the Generals, and we will be back in just a short moment.
Inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon, with affordable tuition and 24/7 support. It all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
As number 14 Sams will line up for her 2 free throws of the night. And her first one off the rim and out of bounds. Just out. One more for Sams. Sams. Second one will go.
Prosper on the court now for the Cougars.
McGinnis back to Actor. Actor against Prosper. McGinnis. Kania. Actor gets it taken away by Moore. Moore over to Perkins against Kania. Perkins! Beautiful play there by Kira Perkins. Kania, number 11, called out of bounds by a pass from McGinnis. Trailing by 11 are the Cougars, trying to get a last-second push in this game against heavily ranked W&L Generals. Harris gets it off to Prosper. Prosper cuts back. Tries driving again, puts it up. Off the board. Slicer will get the rebound, but she will be fouled. It'll be the hands of the Generals. Shimp will inbound it. Into Shuttlewood. Over to Slicer. Slicer takes it herself. Now Shimp. Over to Shuttlewood. Over to McGinnis. Malik. Slicer. Across to Shuttlewood. Back to Slicer. Slicer in. And she will be called for a travel. Number 20, Skylar Jones back in the game. Number 1, Carmen Moore, after a good performance, comes onto the bench. Prosper lets it roll to Harris. Harris over to Perkins. Perkins puts up the 3, off the rim. Prosper trying to rebound it. Malik gets it. Perkins comes back, recovers the ball. Foul will be called on number 20, Malik. Prosper passes it over, putting it back into play to Harris. McGinnis trying to pressure. Prosper puts up the three against Slicener. Misses the mark and will go out of bounds. Shuttlewood against Jones, mid-range. Over to McGinnis, top of the key. Malik puts up the three. Off the rim, out. Shuttlewood now rebounds. McGinnis now tries the three. Off again. Irvin's rebounds. Over to Harris. Now Harris. Perkins trying to put up the mid-range. Irvin trying to put it right back up. Slicer recovers. Shimp gets it over to Shuttlewood. Back to Shimp. Shimp takes a step. Shuttlewood now for the three. Gets it! Only 2:19 left in this fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. As the Cougars trail. Harris trying to put it up. Perkins drives. Slicer against Irvin. Timeout. Timeout Cougars. As they're falling behind in this fourth quarter. We'll be back in just a short moment.
University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
Being inbounded here by Kirkland for the Cougars. Trying to get it to Prosper, gets it taken away by Slicener with some help from McGinnis. Slicener leaves it for Shuttlewood against Kirkland. Shimp against Sams. Now McGinnis over to Shuttlewood. Finds Malik, the three-point shooter for the Generals. Into Shimp. Over to Malik. Three. Malik gets it. Kirkland now trying to push transition to Jones. Jones drives, gets it around Slicener. And now number 14 McGinnis leaves it for Malik to Shimp. Malik now getting pressured quickly by Moore. Malik trying to get around Moore. Great pressure there. Kirkland comes in to help. Slicener now. Slicener gets an easy pass over to Shimp as she drains an easy layup. Prosper leaves it for Moore. Moore to Sam. Sam puts it up three. Off the mark. Now Shuttlewood against Moore. bit of a push off. Gets it over to Malik. Now Shimp back to Malik. Over to McGinnis. Over to Shuttlewood now. Puts it over for Slicner. Slicner easily puts in another layup. Kirkland trying to do her best. Gets it taken away by Shimp. Pass intended for Moore. Shimp sends it across court. And the clock will wind down as the Cougars fall to the Generals 86-67. The Generals 1-0 now in conference. Cougars 0-1. Thank you all for watching. My name is Luis Martinez, and please join us as the Averett University men's basketball team faces the visiting Greensboro College Pride. We will be back in just a short moment.